Hi, everybody. Welcome to the live stream. Thank you for coming. If you are not watching live and you're watching after, thank you for watching after. Today, I'm going to really try to get into things and hopefully we will have a lot more success and better connectivity with this stream than the other one. So if you are here, thank you so much. And hello, hi Jacqueline Writer 30. I'm trying to wave to everyone, but you guys are all joining so fast. So hello to everyone who's here. We're going to get straight into things and I'm going to try to pace myself well because the link to the giveaway for today doesn't drop until 6:15. So let's have a little chat. Let's talk about the book. Hi, Miss J&B. Hi, Yoli. Thank you all for coming. I know that the last one was a little bit of a mess. Hi, Jonathan. So hopefully today we can continue. So today, the first topic we are going to get into is Mafia Possession. So on July 31st, my latest Mafia romance book came out, book 4, Mafia Possession. If you already have the book, drop a little emoji in the chat. And thank you very much for getting the story. This is book 4. So we are almost done with the series and it's kind of making me wish that I continued to write more, like there were more brothers, although 5 brothers was a lot to keep track of. Miles MGMT, thank you. Kira the Great, thank you. I really appreciate it. So the 4th book in the series made me realize that I could write a longer series. Yoli, thank you very much. And I'm very much considering doing that Hey Mona Girl 73 next year, doing a 6 to 8 book series. So if you are interested in a longer book series, definitely let me know in the comments of the live stream, the YouTube channel, or on Instagram, wherever you happen to be watching this video. Now, with Mafia Possession, right now we actually are very lucky. Hi, Kara. That the paperback and the ebook are out at the same time for a change. So, okay, it looks like a few people are saying that a longer series would be awesome, and thank you. So, the book is free in Kindle Unlimited, and right now it is $4.99 to buy it outright. Some people ask which is better for authors, and to be honest, buying it outright is better for authors, but Kindle Unlimited is great for readers who read many of my books. It's better for me if you can read 1 million books a month, if that's what you want to read. So whichever you prefer is up to you, but that is the honest answer to that sort of frequently asked question. And of course, we have a paperback available and book 5 is scheduled. Mafia Stalker is Oren and Onika's story, and that will be going live on September 5th. So if you haven't gotten into the Mafia Possession tea at this point, Mafia Possession has a few tropes that I wrote down that are kind of like the big ones in this book. We have an arranged marriage of sorts. It's arranged in the forced spectrum, but not by Callum. He didn't want this. He's a good man deep down. We have dark romance. Obviously, this is a dark mafia romance book, so if you find that type of stuff troubling, I would stay away from it. We have forced proximity. They're forced to be together, and it's a second chance romance and a brother's best friend romance as well. Also, if you recall from some of my previous streams, Zarya, the main female lead, is a biracial, half white, half black, mixed race female lead, and that will add some depth and entertainment to the story. We also have a lovable best friend, Kalani, and Kalani is important because she has a very significant connection to book 5. Now, I don't really want to spoil any of that because, quite frankly, the book just came out, so I can't expect you to know all of this. However, I do want to kind of tease that out a little bit. So in the setup for this book, Callum needs to get married. He and Zarya have a past, and his brothers arrange to fix the situation in a very Murray family mafia way. So if you have been loving the Irish brothers, they are definitely going to be in this series quite a bit. Um, and they are going to have not the series, obviously they're in the series, in this book quite a bit, and they're also going to be in book 5, and there's going to be like a follow-up. So if you read book 1 and you're wondering, or book 2 more likely, and you're wondering, what did Kamari and Dara ever name their baby? I didn't get that. Those questions will be answered in book 4. So I kind of made it so, yes, you can read each book as a standalone, but if you want to get deep into the Irish Mafia verse, reading them in order and looking for those little connections, you'll be able to kind of fall in love with the whole family. If you're worried, like a lot of people, that Rian from book 3 is just going to be way better than not Oren, but Callum from book 4, give it a chance, because I promise you, if you're thinking that way, I'm writing the characters, I'm like living in their brains a little bit, and I definitely don't ever want to put out a book that is a letdown from book 3 when I know there's 2 more books. So just trust me, that's on my mind, and I'm cooking up some crazy stuff for you guys. I think you'll really like it. And with that, if you have any questions about Mafia Possession, let us talk about them, because I have to switch the order I'm doing things because I'm talking too quickly. So why don't I go into before the giveaway link drops. It's going to drop at 6:15 on my link tree. What is the link tree? The link tree is this little link I put in my Instagram page, and when you click the link, it's like all my links are in the link. It's some high-level technology that authors are now able to use. And so at 6:15, I did a little schedule. That link tree is going to have a giant link at the top that says live stream freebie. And in that live stream freebie today, you will get, drumroll noise, purchased for pleasure for free. So the book giveaway today is a billionaire romance. I believe it's in the 60K word range. I did look this up today, and then I did not write it down, so I essentially deleted the looking it up from my brain. But it is a kind of a full-length book. It's a billionaire romance that does have, in my opinion, mid-reviews. Why? Because the reviews were not up to par. I went and I reviewed, and I've edited the book a couple times, but I just left it on the same page so that people wouldn't have to rebuy it, because it was already a republish, and I was a mess when I was publishing when I was younger. However, the book has been updated, and it will be free, so there's really nothing to lose if you don't like it. This was when I was getting my toe into dark romance and billionaire romance, so it's one of my first dark romance books. Let me show you guys. I'm over here talking. What about showing? It's a video. I'm supposed to be showing you guys stuff, and I'm just talking. Okay, so we are going to look at the new cover, and I changed my keyboard to Greek, a language I do not even speak. Okay, let me figure out how to get out of here. Okay, purchased for pleasure. There we go. I'm downloading it. Oh, hello, here is the link tree. Oh, hey. Yes, thank you. And it's also, I think the link tree is also in my books somewhere, in the paperbacks, in the ebooks. The fact that I don't know where is maybe telling me it's a little too hard to find. But here is, all my lights, the Purchased for Pleasure cover update, which of course is completely messed up by my giant lights that I need to keep me well lit, and sadly today on the pale side. But Purchased for Pleasure is here, and this is the backwards version of the cover. You'll be able to get this book free at 6:15. So this freebie is only going to be available for, I want to say, a couple of days, because I am only doing this as a live stream giveaway. So if you're watching this in the live stream before August, hold on, I did also write this part down, Friday, August 4th, you will be able to get this book for free by heading to my Instagram, clicking the link on my link tree, and downloading the book from the giant link that says live stream freebie. This is a book similar to another book we're going to talk about in this stream for a couple of reasons, but it's a dark romance, a billionaire romance, a first-time romance, older man, younger woman, a foreign white man, maybe there's a, ooh, I can't spoil this, so I don't want to spoil the book, but at 6:15 you can get the fresh new cover and everything. And part of why I did this and wanted to give it away is because this book has been taken out of Kindle Unlimited, and so now it's going to be on Barnes and Noble, the library, Kobo, iBooks, Smashwords, and Google Play. So you guys are going to get it for free, but everyone else is going to have to pay for it when I announce that the book is now everywhere else. So I hope you guys like the story, and if you do like the story, you can let them know in the review that you got it for free, but it would really help if you went on Amazon and left a review on that book, because it is a mess. But of course, if you don't like the book, feel free to keep it to yourself. I like the book, but it is a little wild, and this was when I first started writing more out there books. So Miles Marianne says, I have already read it. It is awesome. Thank you. I liked it, but you know, I'm just trying to be honest about, let's see, it was updated in 2022, and I just updated the covers today, and I did grammar updates a few months ago from like Kindle sends me like reader errors I miss. So there have been a few updates, but if you already have it, I don't think you need this version, and you can just update the cover. Kira the Great says one of my favorites. So thank you to you guys. So I'm just going to go through the video, and when it's 6:15, we'll circle back around and I'll remind you that the link is live, because I just want you guys, if you don't have the book, to remember to get it. And there is going to also be an audiobook giveaway in this stream. So just keep watching. And again, if you can't really watch, you know the drill with the audiobook, so you could just hack it and DM me, I want an audiobook now. But if you want to wait to know what audiobook it is, just wait and I'll let you know in the video. So Miles MGMT says the cover just updated to the new one today. Yay! I'm really glad to hear it. I was just messing around on my iPad with the link on books to read, because I think the Kobo link and the Smashwords link just went live, so I was getting all of that together. So as I do when I come on here, I wanted to go through my WIP updates, what I'm working on, where I'm at with everything, and details that I thought you guys might want to know. So Mafia Stalker. So after Mafia Possession, I know I'm on to the next one. Mafia Stalker is coming out September 5th. A binge reader's dream. There is a little bit less of a wait this time. And it is Oren and Onika's story, and essentially he develops an obsession with her that comes from an unexpected place. And like I said, Onika has a connection to the previous book, which I might have low-key just spoiled in the way I phrased this. So we had a mixed race female lead for Mafia Possession, and then I kind of felt like I wanted to do another mixed race female lead who was mixed race with Black and Asian, just because I never do mixed race leads, as everyone told me, and I took the feedback and I just wanted you guys to know that I'm listening to you, and I have no problem with writing a mixed race female lead, like I explained before, because I do think some people thought like, oh, it's like super on purpose, and it was just kind of on purpose, because I thought, oh, you guys don't really want to read that. So, okay, so Mafia Stalker is a very dark romance, and I'm thinking of potentially writing a whole story for the series epilogue to spend more time with the couples, because I'm obsessed with all of them. But Mafia Stalker is very dark. I think that from the very beginning of the book, the first 5 chapters, you're going to lose your mind. The first chapter I'm going to put on Patreon on Sunday. So that's a little tea. I haven't actually told my patrons this yet, so I'm just hopping on the live stream, telling y'all business to the world. Mafia Stalker chapter 1 is going up on Sunday on Patreon, and that'll be the first look at the story from Oren's perspective. He has the first chapter. He has come to be one of my favorite heroes. He's very messed up. Rereading parts of this book, I'm like, oh, he's dark. He is dark. I was ready for him He is a bad boy to the core, very dominant. It's going to be a lot of like dom sub type dynamics, but not as like strict as the type of dynamics you see in a billionaire romance, because he's a mobster. He is a Celtics fan. Is that how you say it? Or is it a Celtics? It's a Celtics fan. I will be a fan of Boston teams, but not the basketball team, so I have no idea what's going on over there. But that book is in edits right now, and just going through and rereading parts of it, it's very exciting. So if you have binged Mafia Possession, then you are definitely going to love Mafia Stalker because you're in the book universe. If you're just working your way through it, don't worry, we'll have a whole other video about it, and we will get to chat about it a little bit more. So now it is 6:15. You can get Purchase for Pleasure free as a giveaway in the link in my bio. And I think too, if you go to my link tree, you can press that little bell thing and then get text just about the link tree. I know it's odd, but I sign up to my own text from the link tree because I will schedule a link to drop and then forget. And so then I get the text and I'm like, oh yeah, I just shared this book with them. Let me go make a post. Let me go see if there's any messages. Let me, do that type of thing. So there is that. And I want to hurry on to the next thing, which is my next work in progress, which is Augustine Virgo King, because I'm loving it. Mona Girl 73 says, loving the series. And I can't remember if I read that. Miles Marianne says, I'm totally hooked. And Kara says, just bought Purchase for Pleasure. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Sometimes I struggle with the messages, but I am trying to keep track of everything. So the next thing that I've been working on is Augustine Virgo King, and that is coming out soon. That book will be done and through edits by Monday. So that book has been coming out in bits and pieces on Patreon. By the end of the week, by Friday, there will be 4 chapters on Patreon. They already have chapter 1 and 2. I needed my Mountain Man mail order bride dark romance fix. It's got arranged marriage. We've got a snowstorm. We have some cute pet dogs named by my patrons. We have a lot going on, and we have Trinity, the main female lead's best friend from Julius Cancer King. Now, I brought something to read to you today from Augustine's book, and it is a little bit, I'm going to hopefully start and stop at the right time. I really should have brought water today, and give you a little taste of the chapter. So Trinity is in Lachelle's living room, and they are looking at Trinity's profile on a website. Okay. Lachelle turns her attention to my profile and wrinkles her nose before commenting again. Girl, did you say that you weighed 120 pounds? He can see your picture, I snatched the iPad away from Lachelle. Keep your negativity to yourself, girl. What do men know about weight? All he can see is ass and titties. If I shave 50 to 100 pounds off my actual weight, who the hell is going to check me? Nobody. Lachelle rolled. I just can't believe you're doing this. There are plenty of men around here. I found Julius, Lachelle says, practically begging me to sit around this town with her, staying thirsty and single while I watch her dramatically limp around that redneck who blows her back out every night. I want a dick-induced limp too. I make a desperate effort to explain myself to Lachelle. He showed up on your doorstep like a stray cat, and you had to wait until you were 40 to find him. I can't wait until I turn 40. You're 39 and your birthday is in 2 months, Lachelle says. Exactly. I'm dried up. That's misogynistic and backwards, Trinity. Women don't lose their value or ability to find love just because we turn 40. I roll my eyes. Lachelle wasn't so forward-thinking when she first met Julius. She wasn't sure if a guy who preferred blue jeans and a t-shirt to suits could handle her bougie ass. Look at her now. Feet up, pregnant as fuck, waited on hand and foot by a guy hot enough to be a starting high school quarterback on a television show. Maybe the best way to find love in this shitty dating economy is to just take a chance. Put yourself out there. Make a profile. Get on a website. Do something. And I don't mean those stupid apps. I need to find something serious. We don't lose our ability to love. Fine. But we have to compete with women who have tiny waists and whose titties haven't started sagging yet, I explained to Lachelle. My nipples are about to touch my belly button. I need to do something. You aren't competing with anybody, Lachelle says. I can't believe you're the one acting all hopeless about love right now. My stomach tightens. Okay, I'm the happy-go-lucky friend. The friend who never bitches, the friend who's always down to take a trip to Puerto Rico or Vegas for the weekend. But I have my own shit going on. Shit that even my best friend doesn't know about because it all started long before I met Lachelle. It all happened when I was just 18. Just old enough to sign a contract. At least with this contract, I actually know what I'm getting into. This isn't just about love, Lachelle. I have bills to pay. Big bills. I shouldn't have gone for that second master's degree, and it doesn't matter what I do now. Love or not, if something doesn't change, I'm screwed. You shouldn't have to sell yourself to some stranger when I could help you out, Lachelle says. I know the student loan bills are scary, and the whole Supreme Court thing is freaking people out, but selling yourself to some rich guy, is that really necessary? I brace myself to confess the truth to Trinity. Why this is about to become an emergency that could spiral my life out of control, far worse than marrying some asshole who has $200,000 to spare in the first place. I have $246,123 in student loans, girl, I say out loud, briefly acknowledging my spiraling student loan balance, the giant anvil that stays threatening to crush the life out of me if I think about it for too long. I thought investing in my education would be a good thing. Nobody explained to me how fucking hard it would be to pay everything back once it was all said and done. Trinity! Lachelle gasps, nearly flinging my iPad across the room and adding to my damn bills. I catch the device before it falls. Are you crazy? How did you get that much student loan debt? Grad school. Where the hell did you go to graduate school? Lachelle says, and why don't I already know this? Because I don't use my degree, I explained to her. I couldn't find a job in my field. Girl, those loans are more than my house, Lachelle says, her offers to help fading into the background. Yeah, my problems are way bigger than my best friend could help me with, and I wouldn't even let her do it if she had the money. Sure, I was young, but this is my fuck up. Okay, I want to stay here and read the whole rest of this book, but I'm going to have to stop right now because I want to get into the comments for a second. I got on the bandwagon with Trin after I read that chapter on Patreon right after I got my student loan repayment email. Yes, I will agree. This is cope. I also have got the student loan repayment email. And actually, at some point, now, don't quote me on this. Go look it up. I read somewhere that Black women are uniquely affected by the student loan burden in America. And so when I read this, I thought maybe there are other people who could relate to the situation. And so I wanted to write a character because we're going through it and we can all dream about a man taking us on a mail order bride website who happens to be sexy AF as we go through this trying time. So sometimes when these books come out of mine where I'm coping with something, people are like, oh my God, she's glorifying it. And I am having a good time and hopefully trying to bring you guys some entertainment and to take the pressure off a little bit in your free time. So let me get back to the comments. Miles MGMT, I'm dried up. Honey, I feel that student loan debt. Yes. And Kira the Great has an emoji. Yes. I don't know which emoji this is because I'm too far from the screen. But yes, I'm feeling it. So this chapter, we have Lachelle coming back, and Uniquely Neek says, of course, highly educated, full of debt, and underpaid. And this is just a generally important subject. And again, I know it's affecting a lot of people. So hopefully we can have some type of commiseration, holding each other together, and getting through the hard times with Augustine by our side. So I didn't read any of Augustine's chapter today because he is his own beast and he's not going to get a full live stream episode because the book is coming out too soon. However, the chapters will be going up on Patreon until the release day, Monday through Friday. So if you are interested in getting like the teasers and stuff like that, that's why we got Patreon. And for now, I'm going to talk about something that I have not spoken about before yet, and it is my next series. Now, I have been made aware by a number of my friends who have nothing to do with romance. They have never read any of my books. They have nothing to do with romance. That there is some drama in the world of romance, in a world I am not really a part of, which is being popular on Book Talk. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because this drama seems to be centered around a romance genre / trope that will be the subject of my next series, and that is hockey romance. So I don't really care to delve into this drama or share my opinion on it, but I was like, hey, I'm putting out a hockey romance series, and now everyone is talking about hockey romance because of this situation going on, and people are sending me links, and they're acting like I have some special insight, and I'm like, I heard about this from you. I don't know anything about this. So we are going to move on and talk about my hockey romance series that is coming out. So I have already done a previous hockey romance series. And what you will notice is that with the hockey books, both the previous series, the Laguna Grove series, and this one, is that I write college hockey books. Why? For many reasons, actually, which could honestly be its own episode. But one of the tiny reasons is you run the risk sometimes, if you get too personal with certain things, of stepping on people's toes. And at the end of the day, the type of fiction that I write specifically, the books are very dark, and I really wouldn't want anyone to think that, this is fake. Okay, this didn't happen. And I had this issue with my fraternity romance books, the Fraternity Plaything, Fraternity Housemaid, where I guess I made certain parts of it too realistic, because I got a lot of comments saying Greek life is horrific, this is why I'll never be in a frat, this is why I'd never let my kids join a frat. And I was like, I'm sorry I spoke on Greek life like this, because this was completely fictional. So let's just get that out of the way. This is completely fictional, and it is a new college hockey series about the rival school of the Laguna Grove Vipers, and this is McGraw College. The reason I write about colleges instead of universities, although a lot of people are probably like, is that not the same thing? There are slight distinctions, is because I went to a college that was very distinct from a university. And I feel like I had a very different experience from a lot of friends and people I know who went to schools like Syracuse or any of the SUNYs or anything like that. And so that is a world that is a predominantly white world, and a lot of times in my romance books, that is the kind of world my characters navigate, because first of all, it's common for a lot of people to experience, and secondly, it adds tension and drama to the situation. Blah blah, boring writer stuff. We don't need to worry about it. But that is the case. So there are a lot of unique things to the college experience that I put into those books. So if you have had that experience, you'll be like, she knows what she's talking about. And if you haven't, you might think this isn't realistic, but give the books a shot, because a lot of crazy things are going to be in that series. I bring that up because I am writing the series right now. This is my work in progress. This is Varsity Possession. I'm officially into chapter 1, and I sat outside writing this today before the sun literally fried my iPad, and it told me, go inside, it's too hot. And I was thinking, can I put this on page 1? I wrote the whole thing and I'm like, this is page 1? Can I get away with this? So it is going to be a very wild ride, and I think you guys will love it. I wrote down a list of my obsessions that are probably going to go in this book. Hello to everyone who's joining that you might like. So one is I'm adding new kinks. So we're reading my notes as I wrote them down, very authentic. So I feel like I have been writing very similar kinks, and there's a lot of things that I don't really like. There's a few things I don't really like to write. There is a certain things that I'm just sensitive about, and so I won't write it, which is ironic because a lot of my books are about not being sensitive. I don't mean sensitive like I get offended if I see it, but if I'm sitting down to write it, I'm not feeling like it's sexy. Okay. So I want to branch out and write new kinks that are different from what I normally put in my books, but still sexy. So we are going to have a whole new, there is going to be kinks I've never written before in this book that you can't even guess what it is because I've never written it. So let's start there. I am also obsessed with cults and rituals. Girl Jamila, what? Not being in a cult. I have no interest in joining any cult right now or starting any new cults or rituals. However, in dark romance books, in writing them and reading them, I have been feeling that the kind of the fear and like the emotions and some of those like dramatic scenes, I really want to put in some of that stuff into the books. And also, I have definitely had experiences in my life that I don't think have been cult experiences, but they have been cult-y. And I think it, to some extent, all of us have that. Like, for example, being a super fan of a sports team. When a chant starts up and we all start acting crazy. If someone from, 1400 showed up at the Bruins game, they'd say something's wrong with us. So that I've been kind of wanting to explore the darker side of cults in the books. I really want, the hockey players are going to be OD dominant. I'm ready for the dominant males today. And of course, there's going to be lots of hockey. I wrote hockey romance before it blew up. Of course, mine didn't blow up. That would have been nice. But so I'm not trying to say that people copied me. I don't think that's the case. I just think it has so happened that I wrote in 2021 or 2022, whenever Varsity Servant, Varsity House Pet, and Varsity Property came out, because I was super into hockey, and then hockey romance became a huge thing, and I'm like, okay, we're back to hockey we go, because I had a great time doing that. So I love hockey. There's going to be a lot of hockey in these books. It will not be based on a specific college. It definitely won't be based on the college that I attended. It will not be based off of any real people or individuals. And I think that it's going to be set at a college to match the theme of the other books. And because that's kind of the age and time period and the setting I prefer to have, because it just gives the characters a place to be that is convenient. I don't live in a major city. I live out in the middle of nowhere where I rather like living. And so I do like to write settings that are less of a big city feel, although I do spend a lot of time, or have in the past, in big cities. I like more bucolic countryside settings, and so that's what we're going to have. Now, the fun part. The first book, Varsity Possession, is up for pre-order. The description is also up for pre-order. Let's see if there's anything. I was going to try to tell you off the top of my head what the description is. That is just never going to happen. Let's see if I can get to the link here and we can talk about the book. Okay. Oh my goodness, how do these people already have me on their pirating website? And the book isn't out yet. Oh no, it's not a pirating website. Oh, that's nice. It's a website that tells people, I googled the book. It's a website that tells people to buy the book on Amazon. It also has the description. I'm on a random website. Okay. A sassy but sweet African-American freshman receives her sorority initiation instructions. Drop to your knees and please the mysterious hockey player behind the wall. She doesn't know the identity of the thick 11-inch stranger poking through the hole, but he knows her. One night activates the hot hockey captain Jesse Rousseau's obsession with Peyton. He demands more. Peyton can't avoid the cruel campus king's tangled web of dark rituals and darker obsessions. Jesse doesn't mess around with what belongs to him. From the second Peyton's lips touched his skin, she sealed her fate, his forever. So that gets to it. I was going to describe the first scene and try to set it up. That gets to it. So this will be a dark book. The sorority stuff is going to be wild. Again, I liked the Fraternity Plaything series. Low-key regret making them novellas, but at the time, I was doing me. That's my best answer. So I didn't make them longer. This is going to be full-length, 70K trilogy. We're going to get a nice fall-winter hockey romance trilogy. This book drops October 30th, not the 13th. That would be crazy. October 30th, and it's currently up for pre-order. Now, I feel like I've been running long today, but I haven't really. We have audiobook production updates. Chris is a workhorse. Chris, I will tell you this. I think I won't hear from Chris for, I think in my brain, like, oh, it's going to be months. And then Chris gets back to me and he's like, hey, I got something for you. And so he doesn't sound like that. So I'm thinking we will have a lot of the Zodiac romance books out by next year. Like the whole series will most likely be caught up. One of the things that I did, oh boy, what did I do? I see, is I'm looking at this and I'm like, oh no, I got rid of it. So Chris sent me the retail audiobook sample of the audiobook we're producing, Fletcher Sagittarius King. I'm sorry, I'm really bad at multitasking sometimes. I'm trying to find the link to it here because, of course, I did delete it from, I didn't delete it, I approved it, and so it has been deleted. So we're going to take a little look and see if we can find that on Patreon where I posted it, and hopefully it didn't disappear. So Fletcher, yes, I did tell Chris, and he was really flattered. I think he really appreciated it, and he really wants to put out, y'all helped me, because I think he's like, okay, they love me, I'll give them some more. We're doing more. So Fletcher Sagittarius King. So this is up. This is where I say my patrons get everything. It's up on Patreon, and I went and lost my file. So let's listen to what we can from Patreon. And so what it is he sends me a little 15 minutes. And I got that from both of the books we're working on. And I don't know if probably won't play the whole 15 minutes, but we'll play a little bit of it. So we are already like really far in the process of both Conan, Aquarius King, and Fletcher. So let's take a listen to what we can find from Fletcher.
Chapter 1. My best friend's daughter. Fletcher Sweeney. I watched Brittany approach that annoying, shady motherfucker Rob Wheeler for the third time this week. Even in a modest dress, Brittany turns heads. Her white cardigan billows around her as she walks over to Rob with a flirtatious smile on her face. Since she was a little girl, she always dressed up for church, sometimes making my best friend Harry late because she couldn't decide on a pair of shoes or fluffy socks. My stomach lurches as I watch her. What the fuck does she want with Rob Wheeler? She's not wearing fluffy socks or Minnie Mouse Mary Jane shoes anymore. No, sir. Brittany is all grown up, about 5'11" tall, and every dress highlights her silhouette, even a flowing, church-appropriate floral dress like this one. My cheeks redden as she tilts her head to the side, waving at Rob and pushing a cascade of bouncy curls away from her round, brown face. Brittany Reddick doesn't know how closely I look out for her. But her dad looked out for me when I was an idiot kid, becoming my best friend when I was ready to give up on my fucking life. Her dad is the reason I became a cop, and I owe him. Rob waves back, and a knot tightens in my stomach. They can't be friends, can they? Or worse, is she interested in him? Brittany waves back and flicks a thick handful of black curls behind her shoulders. Her hair hangs in a thick mass of coils to the middle of her back. 2 clear hair clips hold her hair out of her face, and she gazes up at Rob with nothing but pure admiration that makes me sick. She's the worst kind of 20-something. She doesn't know how fucking pretty she is, or how naive she is.
Okay, so we are going to stop because I was back at it again with another age gap romance. And I did also really like this book. I do agree that Chris does a great job. I'm so excited. So this book is not out yet, but if you're here in the chat and you're new, because I know we have a lot of returning people and some new people, I want to say the first 3 books in the series are already out on audio. My memory is sometimes a little embarrassing. Cyrus is out. Adrian is out. and Terran is out. And all three of these audiobooks are about 2.5 hours long. So you will 2 to 2.5 hours. So they are, and the reason I wrote the series was because I wanted to pair them with audiobooks. And I heard from the streets, long story short of where authors hear things, the streets is that you guys prefer for the audiobooks kind of like something you can listen to that's not as long as like a 6 hour book. Like it's got to be sexy and short, on the short side, but not too short, like 45 minutes. So I thought this series would be a great opportunity. What's the biggest age gaps in your books? 18-year-old and 40. In real life, I do not recommend doing that. I strongly recommend against doing that under any circumstances, pretty much. However, yes, the biggest age gap in my books is 18-year-old and 40-year-old. And I think with the older woman, it's 20-year-old and 40-year-old. Although when I used to write erotica, I did have like a 40-year-old woman and a 19-year-old male, but that book is no longer published. But yes. Oh, hi. You did catch me live, and thank you for coming. I really appreciate it. I want to see if we can take another little listen I hope I didn't somehow get rid of it, because did I upload it? We are going to see if we can listen to Conan for a little bit and give that a try, since we listened to a couple minutes of Fletcher, because these are just the two audiobooks I'm working on for the main series. Do I want to make them into audiobooks? Yes. Does it make mathematical sense at this point for me to do that on the business end? Not really. How could you help this? Joining my Patreon page. I talk about this in every stream, so I'm not even going to do the long thing this time because I'm too excited. We're going to the audiobook. So let's listen to
Chapter 1. Shaquana. I have a date on Friday. It's the first date I've had since my ex-husband Oscar moved out. I should be excited for a first date, right? At my age, you don't go on a lot of first dates unless you advertise your body online, and that never sat right with me. Romance should happen naturally, in the wild, the way it has for millions of years. I just don't know about dating a cop. My friends make a good point, though. Who else makes good money in a town like this? Sheriff Leahy's a catch. Allegedly. My future date, Sheriff Leahy, just got a divorce, which he informed me reluctantly while chatting me up over eggs and bacon at Mark and Franny's diner, before asking me on an official date to our town's local Applebee's. Viola thinks I need to get myself back out there, even if it's Sheriff Leahy, but I don't know. Shouldn't people our age at least go to a steakhouse that's a little nicer than Applebee's? They have good food, though, so I can't be too mad that it's not as fancy as I would hope for a first date. Maybe he really likes the racks of ribs. The first sprinkle of snow starts, and even if it's Thursday, it's cause for concern. We have another semi-predictable winter storm blowing through, and the Weather Channel always seems to get it wrong. They say 2 inches, we get buried by 18. They call off work, the roads are cleared by 7:30 in the morning. There's no predicting the weather out in the country. As long as I don't have to reschedule, this will be fine. It's just a light dusting, I tell myself. I hope it doesn't get much worse. Not just because of the hassle of rescheduling, but the nightmare of clearing out my long driveway. It's the worst part about my house, the long driveway in the snow. To prepare for the date, I made a special appointment with my nail lady downtown. I go there weekly and treat myself to a fresh set, but today I wanted something more than my standard French tips. Something romantic. There's only a tiny chance at romance in a town this small, especially when you don't have the blonde hair and blue-eyed look that the white guys around here prefer. Sheriff Leahy may just be my best option if I don't want to die alone. There aren't many men in my general demographic who aren't already married. And yes, there are only white guys available for me to date in this town. The black men who come through a place this tiny and isolated are either already married with a parcel of mixed children running behind them, or they're looking for a particular type of woman. I'm not their type, let's just say. I wish I was someone's type, but I'm just not that lucky. People say because I have fair skin, I'm a light caramel color, I have it easier. But if I have it easier, where are the men lining down the block to date me? It doesn't matter your skin color. Some people just aren't lucky in love. I wasn't lucky in my marriage. Why should that change now? There's nothing different about my life, and there's nothing more special about me now compared to when I was younger.
Okay, so Shaquana, sorry I'm cutting you off in your sad story, because she about to get her back blown out. So we are again with another romance by Chris. This one is a lot of fun too. I forgot that Conan was wild. Conan was insane. I hope I never meet Conan, but we had some good times in that book. Now we're doing 2 age gap romances. I can't believe they actually come together. So Conan is younger. So this is the one I want to say. It's hard for me because while writing, I changed it. So now my memory is all mixed up. But I think Conan was 20, like he had just turned 20 in the books. But he also, when he started off, I was going to make him 19. But I have been moving away from writing age gap romances too often. So now let's get to the giveaway part of the audiobook. The audiobook I'm going to give away to anyone watching who wants an audiobook is Bound and Gagged. This is a little bit older of a book of mine. It has not been updated or looked at in a while. But a lot of people still come to me about the audio and the ebook. So I tried to go to Amazon to see if, hey, can I get some more codes for the audiobook to give it away to people, since I don't even really remember all the details about the book that well. I would love to just give it to you guys. And they said yes. So Bound and Gagged, what I do know is it's a workplace billionaire romance, and there's some BDSM in it. So if these 3 things, so it's got a lot of smut. So if these things appeal to you and you want to try out the audiobook for free, send me a direct message after the stream saying, I want the audiobook, and tomorrow morning I will send you a code. The reason I don't send the codes right after the live stream is because I am one to spend a lot of time alone, and after streaming, I just go straight into that alone time, and tomorrow I will get you the audiobook codes. So if you want Bound and Gagged, hopefully the title tells you about what's going to happen in the book. Dominant billionaire boss, a black woman, obviously a bwwm, workplace romance. You can get that audiobook for free. And of course, there's another live stream freebie that you can download, which we spoke about earlier. So we are nearing the end of today's stream. I wanted to just get on here because the other one was such a mess and give you a little bit better of an experience this time. I fixed it. I figured out what went wrong, I think. I guessed what went wrong, and I fixed it. So the other upcoming books that I wanted to talk about was the next Zodiac book. So we're talking Augustine, and at this point, I'm too deep into the series to quit. So please do not leave me hanging. I promise you, I will make the books not suck. I won't half-ass it, okay? And you promise me that you read the Zodiac books, okay? Because committing to a 12-book series, I almost feel like it was a very big commitment to me, like an engagement of sorts. And I have not really committed to a 12-book series before. I think the next one that's going to come out is Libra King. And that's going to come out early October between my 2 series, so we can have something fun to read and chat about. Libra King, I have some good ideas for, but I don't want to spoil it until I finalize the ideas. So the Zodiac series is full speed ahead. We're going to get audiobooks. We're going to get ebooks. And then when all the books are published, because the books are not long enough to do individual paperbacks, I am going to do them all as 4 bundles with special covers. So what does that mean? We're going to have fire signs, earth sign, water sign, air sign, and each of the 3, that's how they're going to be organized. They will get their own paperback and ebook bundle, and there will also be, in my hope, audiobook bundles based on the fire sign, water sign, earth sign, air sign. So if you're into the paperbacks and you're wondering like, what's her plan? What's she doing? I'm annoyed. That's the plan for the Zodiac series, but the whole series is most likely going to be done in June of next year. This is the tentative plan, okay? Subject to change, because this is a live stream and probably not the most, like if I had a publicist, if I was that type of person, they might say, don't announce your plans. But what we're going to do is Libra King in October, most likely, unless I put out a different book instead, and just, that might be anything. I don't want to spoil that. Capricorn is going to come out on Christmas Day. Then we're going to have Pisces come out in February and Gemini in June. So I know this is a bit of a wait, but because of the other things I'm writing and all of that, that is the most likely timeline for the other Zodiac books. But at this point, they are all going to happen. So I need to unlock this again. Then we have Depraved coming out. That's again Crispin and Amina's book in November, book 3. And then the release dates for what I talked about previously, Virgo King, so Augustine's book that I read, what feels like 90 years ago already, Virgo King is going to come out on August 17th. So that's in 15 days. Let's call it 2 weeks. 2 weeks, Virgo King is out. The previews are all up on, the preview chapters are going to go up on Patreon. There's already 2 out. There's going to be more out on Patreon. Again, I recommend Patreon. Okay, I am going to do a Patreon spiel. I lied. I recommend Patreon because of the mindset I went into it with. I think will benefit us both, to whoever's watching this, if you enjoy reading my books. And I went into Patreon with a goal that was beyond enriching myself, which of course is a wonderful goal. But I wanted to be able to produce audiobooks. That was something I felt like that is my main goal for Patreon, is I want to be able to produce audiobooks. And you will notice that I took a long break from making audiobooks. The last one I recorded, oh, happy birthday. If you're talking about August 17th, I hopefully will remember that. You can always remind me on Instagram and I would love to send you something. And if you're on my text list, there's something that goes out to the text message to anyone on the text list who puts their birthday in. I set up, like, I love gifts. So I set up something to give out a birthday gift to you if you're on the text list. So, okay, aside, back to the Patreon. I'm always getting off topic. So Patreon, I wanted to produce audiobooks. So you'll notice I produced Redneck Rebels, I think is the last one I did. And then I took a long break. And this was because I was building the Patreon, planning, grinding at the cereals to try to create something that would enable me to produce more audiobooks. And I found that to try to do that, I try to put myself in the reader's shoes. And I'm explaining this to you in hopes that you care and maybe find it interesting and you can get a better understanding of why I talk about it all the time. And I thought, like, okay, let me go and try to be a patron of some people and see and relate to the patron mindset. And I think that something a lot of people have issues with on author patrons, or they want to see, is step 1, they want to see more. And step 2, they want some consistency. And so I felt like I don't really want to Uniquely Meek, yes, I'm giving signed books for patrons. I am slightly behind on those for bad reasons, honestly, for personal reasons, but they do still come out. And also I am trying to work on signed books for purchase, but for patrons, yes. And if you are a patron and you don't have one, or if you want to order a signed book from me personally, message me on Instagram and I will try to work that out for you. Thank you for coming in here and asking that, because that's why I'm here, to answer these questions. I do tell you guys to bring questions if you have any. So with doing that, I really wanted to be consistent, step 1, and step 2, give a lot. My dream would be to give really honestly dirty erotic illustrations. That would be the dream thing I would add to Patreon. That there are many reasons. There are 2 reasons why I haven't done that yet. Step 1, I don't have an artist and I don't really know how to go about finding someone who does that kind of thing. And secondly, I have not planned it, and so don't have it yet. But that's something I would love to do. For now, what I do is there is a lot of content on Patreon. You subscribe to Patreon, and somebody, and that's the only thing you have of mine, you are going to be sat there reading for a good long time before you run out of things to read. There are 13 full-length novels back there right now, basically, that you could sit and... I mean, I don't even know how long that would take you to read. Some of you, maybe 4 days, but there is stuff coming out almost every day. Did I try to ask Kenya Wright? Now, I know Kenya Wright does this, and she has an illustrator. However, I just really wouldn't want to take her thunder. Like, she has someone who's doing something that's her style, and like for her books and her characters and her world. And I know some people might not mind if I used the same illustrator or if I asked the same person, but I actually have like a lot of respect for what Kenya Wright is doing. And when I saw that she was putting out that, I was like, oh my god, you're actually allowed to do that, because I wanted to do it. So I would just feel uncomfortable like potentially making it seem like, oh, I'm trying to like steal someone's person or get like the same thing as them. But I am obviously I have seen the previews that she's posted on Instagram, and that has definitely made me think, oh my goodness, you know all the right people, and I have a lot of respect for that. So hopefully that answered that part of things. I do have, that being said, exclusive illustrations on Patreon. And those illustrations are sexy, but not erotic. And I have a great artist who I'm working with to do those. And I, just because of the website I used to hire her, because I'm trying to like have some privacy here, but to how I hire her, I cannot like legally ask on that website for, oh, you can clarify what you asked. I'm sorry if I misunderstood. I'm trying to like read this and understand and stuff. So if I misunderstand you, I'm sorry. You can try asking again and I'll see if I understand, but just blame me if it looks like she's not getting it. Because I didn't think you meant it in like a bad way. I think you meant like for like advice or like if she did the drawings. So, yeah, I don't think you meant it in a bad way. I'm just the one who's like, oh, I'm nervous to ask, or that's just my thinking about it. Anyways, so let me try to get back to my topic. So hearing all of that about Patreon, I wanted to give you guys a lot. There is a lot back there. And with the audiobooks, I have been able to produce them. I have been able to get more of them out there. So I feel like we're still in the beginning phases of that, where I can get the shorter audiobooks produced because of the support on Patreon. And to me, even if I do feel upset sometimes, like not mad, but sad when someone comes to me and they're like, hey, do you have like Mafia Possession on audio? And I have to say no, and I don't have a concrete plan to produce it. I want to get to a place where I can say yes, but I feel encouraged, not discouraged, about where we are now with Chris and the shorter books. And if you guys keep supporting the books, I obviously already really appreciate it. I do appreciate it, but if you keep supporting the books and hopefully more people support it, we can get them all out on audiobook. We can have our filthy smut drawings behind the scenes on Patreon, and we can have it all. So I do look forward to where we're going with that. And I do want to, after giving this long explanation of the Patreon, thank everyone who's so supportive. Everyone back there, like, will get the free books. They will buy the books. They'll support the paperbacks. I just can't even, begin to express how grateful I am for you guys. I don't know where to start. To say like all the things, like reading the comments, the replies, even the times where I feel like called out by something. And sometimes they call me out because they're like, hey, you posted the same chapter, or like, where's this thing that you said? And it genuinely helps me. So I feel like they are an honest bunch of fun-loving readers, and you would have a good time back there, and they are the best. So with that, I have in here to summarize what we discussed, but we're going to be really quick. Kira the Great says, lots of goodies on Patreon. Thanks so much, Jay. You're welcome. And I know I am behind on mailing out copies, hopefully not by too long. A lot of it is I want to send specific copies of something, and then I need to wait to get them in the mail before I send them, and all hell breaks loose. But they will come because I have a little checklist thing I can use to make sure I actually do it. And there are people get their books. Just make sure if you are on Patreon to upload your address, because I can't send the book if you don't put the address in. And I know some people forget, so just make sure you do that. Okay, so we talked about Mafia Possession. I do have a new giveaway linked in the bio. That's going to expire Friday, August 4th. We talked about all the stuff I'm working on, Mafia Stalker, Augustine, Virgo King, and the new series. I think once we're going to have a Mafia Stalker episode, and then because I said no Virgo episode, sorry, but we are going to talk about it, but just not a whole episode. Mafia Stalker episode, and then we're going to do probably a hockey series episode and talk about the next hockey romance series. And now hockey romance is blowing up, partly for good reasons, partly for somewhat negative reasons, and I'm excited because hockey romance is blowing up, not because of the negative stuff. We also talked about the audiobook giveaway. Oh no, video froze. But it looks fine for me. Oh no. Okay. I'm trying to, I probably got to wrap it up. It's probably telling me, get off this live stream, woman. So I don't know if it can last for longer than an hour. Anyways, that was the main stuff I discussed. I just talked about audiobooks and we played a little bit. And if you want an audiobook of Bound and Gagged, just hit me up, send me a DM after this, and you will be able to get that audiobook delivered tomorrow morning before noon Eastern time. I just typically go through when I wake up or when I'm at my desk and I send out the audiobooks. So I will try to get those out to you ASAP. Okay, so you talk about your friends and how they don't really read your books. How about your family's interest in your writing? Now my friends and family don't really read my books, but it is by my choice, not theirs. I would say I have a couple friends who read my books in real life who happen to be romance book people, but it's more because romance just isn't really their thing. And my family is very interested in my writing and supportive, as are my friends, despite that. And I think they just try to find other ways to support me than reading the books, but they will support the romance side of things in other ways, just generally being very encouraging, always being there to talk about things, keeping me up to date on news that I never hear about because I'm writing, just travel, spending time with me, my work stress being on 100, and also, even if they don't read the book ideas. A lot of them are so good for book ideas, so I'm very grateful to them, and my family is also very critical in me being able to write. They support me so much. Last year, I went through some very intense personal things. And while I kept everything going with you guys, it was like my family was literally in my house, like cleaning up for me every day, making sure that I had food 3 meals a day. So I've got some very supportive people around me. I'm very grateful for them. It's not just the Patreon. So Miles Marianne said, I've gotten my sister into reading your books, and I Am Splash of Color says, sorry, my video froze, went out and came back in. Thank you to Miles Marianne, and thank you to I Am a Splash of Color for coming and showing back up, and for getting your sister into the books. I think that for today, I'm going to have to wrap it up. This is the longest I've ever streamed, and I am partly proud of myself because I've been trying to kind of be here more for you guys, answer more questions, and do better. Each stream, I want to make it a little better, a little more fun, and stop showing up sleepy. So thank you for everyone who came tonight and for listening to everything. If you're watching the replay, you can probably still access some of the giveaway stuff. This is going to go up on YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, you can also feel free to comment and come over to Instagram so you don't miss the next live stream. Thank you to everyone here. I will announce the next stream soon. I really appreciate you staying with me and supporting me with the books and just showing up. You guys are the best, and you have a wonderful, wonderful night. I will see you in the next one. Bye.
She be calling on a Monday, wanna meet on Tuesday, asking me to fix me up real nice. She can wait until the weekend, she wants off the deep end, telling me to bring the stuff I like. I don't wanna let her down, so